The Wii U, the iconic follow-up to the massively successful Wii console. The Wii U unfortunately never lived up to the same legacy as the Wii, and really struggled throughout its 5-year life because of it. So much so that the system only sold just a measly 13.56 million units. That is not a lot. Dare I say, it's quite embarrassing, especially when you consider it got a head start against the wildly more successful PlayStation 4 and the not as successful but still more successful than the Wii U, Xbox One. Now, I already talked about the Wii U on this channel before, although it's been a good while since. However, I personally think Nintendo wants you to forget about the Wii U the same way they want you to forget about the Virtual Boy or the 64DD. But come on, its 10-year anniversary is just around the corner, and we can't forget about it. At least not until the 20th anniversary. Now, as pretty much everyone in the entire gaming landscape knows, the Wii U failed because of a plethora of problems. But that's not what I'm here to discuss. As flawed and as forgotten as the Wii U essentially is, it does have some bright moments, specifically regarding its features and perks, but also at the same time, it also had some dark moments regarding its features and perks. And what I want to discuss for the system's 10-year anniversary is what I think is some of the best and some of the worst features and perks are of the poor Wii U. And for this, I think I want to alternate between flaws and advantages. Why? I don't know, man. Don't ask me how to live my life. But without wasting any more time, let's get into it. Flaw number 1. Storage capacity. So this is more of a minor flaw for the deluxe set for the system, with it storing up to 32 gigabytes of internal storage, but still, I whined about this a good while ago when I was talking about a Nintendo Switch-based topic, whatever that was, but you gotta keep in mind that 32 gigabytes really isn't gonna get you very far. Games only get bigger and bigger throughout the years, and 32 gigabytes might hold a few games depending on how much storage they take up, but for large-scale games, then 32 gigabytes really isn't going to get you anywhere. Neither is 8 gigabytes, which is the storage capacity of the Wii U's basic set, which is a bit more rare since Nintendo discontinued it and just sold the deluxe set after the system's launch. And this one makes even less sense. If you thought 32 gigabytes was small, then try to get by with 8 gigabytes, buddy. Advantage number 1. The TV remote functionality. Please do not tell me that you forgot about the gamepad's TV remote feature. Please. This is probably the best feature of the unnecessary but still quite innovative gamepad. The gamepad's a perfectly fine controller. It is comfortable to use, but to be honest, the overall gimmicks surrounding the gamepad just isn't all that appealing. Some games took advantage of the thing in some really cool ways, but to a lot of other games, it just felt so tacked on, and some games didn't even use the thing's unique features. Couple that with the poor battery life and how gimmicky it overall feels, and you have a giant tablet controller that just didn't need to exist and even added to the $300 price of the system during its heyday. I'd say the only feature that's remotely cool about it is being able to use the gamepad as its own separate device since it has its own screen built into it, and if someone wants to use the TV, you could just use the gamepad. But even then, that's not really all that interesting. You also had to be really close to the system for it to even work, and it's also not portable either, which is a huge missed opportunity. And while the TV remote feature isn't really all that necessary, or even all that essential to the gamepad either, for that matter, I just think it's a cool little feature to have, especially since it's really the only other feature about the gamepad I actually like. Just kidding, I love this thing, don't hate me. And it also comes in handy when I lose the TV remote, but when I lose the gamepad though... Are you kidding me? Flaw number 2. Too much of the system's DNA is centered around the Wii. Now, the Wii U sold poorly for a lot of reasons, including the baffling decision of naming it the Wii U. But to me, it's more than just that. It's the overall system itself. To me, it doesn't really feel like a new system. It feels like a newer version of the Nintendo Wii in HD. Don't get me wrong, the Wii is my favorite system of all time, but a big part of the excitement of new Nintendo systems is seeing how different and innovative it is compared to the last system, and while the Wii U was innovative, it just didn't feel unique enough from the Wii to be its own system. I mean, hell, look at the system's design. I mean, yeah, it's a lot more curved and twice the length of the original Wii, but the overall look of it resembles the Wii more than anything. There's also the menu too, which, yeah, you could see the resemblance. You could even use Wii accessories in games on the system too, which is nice because backwards compatibility on game systems is always good to have, but it also proves my point even more. I know this isn't really something people talk about as much regarding the Wii U unless you count the name, but still, you couldn't make the system have more of its own identity rather than relying on the previous system to serve as its basis? Advantage number 2. Games. Finally, an excuse for me to bring up NES Remix Pack. Now I feel complete. A game system is nothing without its games, and the Wii U definitely had a fair amount of good ones. Although not quite as much as other systems, however, or even on the same levels of quality as other systems too. But still, some gems in there too. Nintendo Land, New Super Mario Bros. U, Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, Mario Kart 8, Smash Bros. For Wii U, NES Remix Pack, which is good just for the thought that Nintendo acknowledged Excitebike exists. I'm telling you, this is my day. Super Mario Maker, Super Mario 3D World, The Legend of Zelda HD remakes, and does anyone else actually own Breath of the Wild on this thing except for me? No? Just me? Yeah, okay, I'll see myself out. And of course, I also want to give some honorable mentions to games that are also really good, but also games I unfortunately do not own. Splatoon, Captain Toad Treasure Tracker, Yoshi's Woolly World, Pikmin 3, Paper Mario Color Splash, etc. And sure, as flawed as the Wii U may possibly be, at least it still had games that people would actually want to play. But unfortunately though, while the games released on the Wii U were one of the system's perks, they were also... Flaw number 3. Also games. Now, I don't really own a whole lot of, or really played for that matter, the games that made people scoff at the idea of buying a Wii U to begin with, but it's also pretty obvious just by seeing them that you know Nintendo didn't really take the fans' feedback into consideration when making these. Like, I can't name a single person who said online that they wanted an amiibo-based board game themed around Animal Crossing. I couldn't really say the game was good or bad because I never played it, but still, why do this instead of an actual Animal Crossing game on Wii U? Or what about Mario Party 10? Fans have made it very obvious that the idea of moving together in a car was what ruined Mario Party 9, but they rehash it again for Mario Party 10. I guarantee you, if it was any other company besides ND Cube who was developing this game, then that freaking car wouldn't have come back at all. Or what about Star Fox Zero? Again, last time I'm going to say this, never played this game. But I already know the biggest problem people have with this game is the controls, but aside from that, why rehash Star Fox 64 instead of just doing something original with this series? I know this is a completely new game here, but it just being a rehash of Star Fox 64's plot comes off as pretty lazy where I'm from. Like, just imagine if every Zelda game's plot was just a rehash of Ocarina of Time. That's not interesting, and this isn't interesting either. Now, I'm not going to deny the fact that the Wii U had a lot of really good games, but it also had a lot of bad games and games nobody asked for too. Advantage number 3. A robust library of virtual console games. I could kind of say the same thing about the 3DS too and its virtual console library, but man, the Wii U's virtual console service just has so many games on it that makes buying the Wii U worth it just for that alone. So many game consoles are represented on this thing. NES, SNES, Nintendo 64, Wii games, hell, even Game Boy Advance and Nintendo DS games are here. Doesn't exactly make sense why they're here instead of, the 3DS, but hey, at least they're here regardless. Though the emulation on these games could be far, far better, they're still relatively manageable. They just look like garbage running on this thing. But hey, it's worth it to play Wario Land 4 in HD, one of the best games on the Game Boy Advance system. The Wii might have been the one to introduce the virtual console service, but the Wii U and the 3DS were the ones to improve on it and have so many more games that the original Wii could never have. Sure beats... Get the hell out of here! But I felt like for the Wii U's 10-year anniversary, it deserved some form of representation from me. The Wii U is not my favorite game console, and I certainly don't have the same level of nostalgia for it as I do with the Wii, but I still played it quite a bit growing up and still have a lot of great memories with this system and its games, whether it was playing Mario Kart 8 with my sister, Super Smash Bros. For Wii U with my friends, even Super Mario Maker if I was bored and didn't have anything better to do. And despite all the Wii U's flaws, I still think it's a good system and probably other people would feel that way too. I personally wouldn't really recommend getting one these days, mainly due to all of its big first-party exclusives getting ported or getting sequels on the Switch, and with the system's eShop getting shut down in March 2023, the system is still quite good, and nothing will take away from all the fun memories I had with this system throughout the years. Including the TV remote feature, which for some reason a lot of people forget is even on the gamepad. I am so sick and tired when people tell me that. Do I have to put it in writing? Please, do not forget this feature! And that's going to wrap up today's video. If you enjoyed the video, then please consider subscribing and checking out my other videos on my channel where you'll find more videos like this one. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.